How are the student volunteers able to balance their personal lives and university work with their voluntary duties? Thank you.
Morning, my name is Evelyn, and I'll be discussing the aims and objectives of the study. The overarching purpose of the study is to explore the lived experiences of female volunteers at the Inside Out project. From the views, opinions, and experiences of study participants, we seek to gain understanding behind the motivation for volunteering at the Inside Out project. Furthermore, because volunteers at the Inside Out project do not receive stipends, another related aim is to identify if there are any rich participants derived for volunteering at the Inside Out project. And lastly, the study intends to explore how student volunteers are able to balance their personal lives and university work with their volunteering duties. I'll also be discussing the significance of the study. The study endeavors to explore the lived experiences of volunteering from potential research participants in order to gain information that will add to the body of knowledge on volunteering in the South African context. Furthermore, the study is significant in as far as it is geared to obtain information on volunteering at the Inside Out and create a network between volunteers and people from different academic standards. The study is important given that it will shed light on aspects such as time management, reasons for withdrawal, as well as expectation and incentives which motivate student females volunteers at Inside Out, including other potential participants, to engage in volunteering. Thank you.
Okay, hello, I'm Savannah and I'm also a volunteer at Inside Out. I'll be discussing the literature review. Okay, according to statistics, approximately 11.5 million women each year are involved in formal voluntary activity. Previous literature indicated that women were more likely than men to volunteer for groups connected with children's education and health and social welfare. The motives for volunteering amongst women vary. Ancient discourse by renowned psychologists proposed views which women today have challenged. Jung argued that women experience personality changes, which are expressed by the increased prominence of masculine personality characteristics. Alternative theory suggests that women gain more strength in midlife after they are relieved of their parental responsibilities. At that life stage, many women are more able to focus on self-fulfillment and spend more time outside of their homes. Later research focused on the context of volunteering and hypothesized that people who volunteer feel empowered and therefore tend to volunteer throughout their lives. In fact, Fisher and Roderick postulated that empowered individuals are confident in their ability to provide substantial assistance to needy persons and to promote processes that benefit their communities. Volunteer activity is accompanied by numerous positive experiences. It promotes and enhances an individual's personal well-being and provides a sense of self-fulfillment. Thornton Hewitt discovered that experiences of giving to others are accompanied by positive, valuable feelings. Therefore, people tend to be more motivated to help others when they perceive their contribution as being useful and beneficial to those receiving it. Thus, volunteers' sense of contributing to others increases to the extent that they feel there's an urgent need for their assistance, that they have the ability to provide their required assistance, and that there is a direct relationship between their efforts and the actual help they provide to the beneficiaries. Originally, it's been speculated that the main reasons for withdrawing from volunteering was the lack of compensation for work and burnout. Burnout has been defined as a subjective experience of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion caused by minor, irritating, and conscious stress. The majority of women who volunteered at Inside Out listed this as a fundamental motive for withdrawing from volunteering, together with a lack of compensation for work and being overwhelmed with other commitments such as work or university. Due to the fact that burnout is related to a loss of energy and as a result of daily stresses rather than majority life events, those stresses are difficult to identify, and people usually do not protect themselves against this. Smith highlights in his approach to volunteerism that there's a large discrepancy between the cost of volunteer activity versus the benefits that they gain from volunteering. Nevertheless, the sense of satisfaction often compensates for volunteers for deficiencies in paid work. Chambers suggests that volunteering also provides an opportunity to cope with fears and anxieties. Inevitably, volunteering provides women with a sense of self-fulfillment and contributes to the need to better their communities that we are actively involved in. Studies have also shown that people who volunteer tend to be more successful in their jobs and happier in their lives. Thus, the purpose of this literature is to synthesize the current writings to determine how volunteer experiences differ and compare what other researchers have published on this matter.
Good morning, my name is Kamahelo Pagela and I'm one of the third-year psychology volunteers, and I'll be presenting the data collection and limitation of the study. The preliminary data collection commenced with a careful reading of literature based on volunteering. Furthermore, personal experience from the current group of volunteers at the Inside Out project were taken into consideration as to why they chose to volunteer. The 6 students currently volunteering at the Inside Out project joined the interest group for various reasons. The first was to join the group as part of the requirements set out for the third-year community psychology module, which is the PYC 3716. Others report to have joined the interest group because they seek to gain practical work experience, which could be best accomplished by working alongside academics at different academic levels. Furthermore, through conducting this paper, we hope to identify whether the volunteering at the Inside Out meet the various expectations highlighted by volunteers. And to broaden the data attained, one-on-one interviews will be conducted with other 10 female volunteer participants who are between the ages of 22 to 28. The interviews will be conducted by means of an interview schedule. The research team will transcribe the interviews, and data analysis will be conducted by using thematic data analysis as well as content analysis. And now for the limitation of the study. The limitation of the study includes, firstly, only females between the ages of 22 and 28. They will be interviewed for the purpose of the study. Secondly, our literature focuses mostly on studies based on volunteering outside of the South African context. Therefore, we are unable to generalize our findings as to the context is South Africa specific. Thirdly, due to the qualitative nature of our study, only 10 participants will be used to conduct the study. And lastly, our small sample will consist of participants who reside in Gauteng and fail to consider other possible volunteers in alternative provinces.
Good morning, my name is Zanetta and I'll be discussing the theoretical framework we used. In developing his theory of unified responsibility, Bergman argued that a sense of responsibility emanates across the personal and social domains of individuals who volunteer. Although this theory is fairly satisfactory in explaining the origins of volunteerism, we have found it fails to exhaust all possible factors that motivate volunteering, such as adoration or rewards. The pro-social behavior of volunteering is influenced by numerous reasons from person to person. Some people report to be motivated by extrinsic reasons such as monetary gains or even avoiding punishment, and others by intrinsic reasons such as curiosity or the feeling of self-worth. It is for these diverse motivations that the study on volunteerism has no single theory, but instead has produced various theoretical models. Thoit and Hewitt proposed 4 theoretical models of volunteering: the volunteering motivations model, the values and attitudes model, the role identity model, as well as the volunteer personality model. The volunteer motivation model emphasizes the function of individual motives in volunteering. These motives vary from person to person, and furthermore, a variety of motives can influence a single person. The values and attitude model focuses on the link between volunteering and the individual belief on the importance of civic participation and the responsibility felt to display altruistic behavior. The role identity model shows that a person's prior involvement in voluntary activities leads to what is referred to by Boyds and Hewitt as a volunteer role identity that influences the same person in future to get involved in volunteer work. Lastly, Boyds and Hewitt proposed the volunteer personality model, which suggests that there are personality and disposition variables that favor volunteering. As cited in Boyds and Hewitt, Allen and Rushton deduced that involvement in volunteering is greater for persons with an internal locus of control, with high self-esteem and a higher emotional stability. I'll also be discussing the ethical considerations in conducting this study. We will apply for ethical clearance at the Department of Psychology to ensure that the study abides by the scientific criterion. Our participants will be approached and informed about the study, as well as encouraged to sign an informed consent form. Total confidentiality will be assured, and participants' real names will be replaced by pseudonyms and numbers. Any identifying information collected will be confidential, and the only individuals who will have access to the data is the research team.
No, we're done.